Hi, this is Mike Neumegen, co-founder of Cloud Cannon. When I was learning Jekyll, I read enough of the documentation to get me started with front matter, layouts, and posts, and then went off and built my first Jekyll site. Then whenever I had a problem, I would go back to the documentation to see if there was a feature that would solve it for me. This worked for me, but even now I come across features or techniques that I hadn't considered before. At Cloud Cannon, we see a lot of new Jekyllers struggling with the basics of setting up an environment and building their first Jekyll site. So we've been thinking about how we can help people get over this initial hurdle and support them as they learn more about Jekyll. When I was learning Ruby on Rails, Railscast was an indispensable resource for improving my skills and knowledge. I found that watching these short, focused videos helped me understand how something worked and when I should use it. So we took that format and applied it to Jekyll to create JekyllCasts. Currently, we've released 11 JekyllCasts, which gives a good introduction to Jekyll's features like front matter, layouts, includes, collections, blogging. All the casts also have a written tutorial. So let's have a look at a quick snippet from our JekyllCast on includes. I'm currently on my demo site, and if we scroll to the bottom, you can see I have a subscribe to our newsletter section. Now I also want this newsletter section to be on another page. Let's put it on the blog page and at the top here between the title and the first blog post. One way of doing this is to take the source code for that newsletter, which you'll see here. I'll copy it and then I'll just paste it into blog.html. Now that section is on the blog page. The problem with this is I've just duplicated source code on my website. And if I ever want to change content inside this newsletter section, say I want to change this title here, then I'm going to have to change that in multiple places. A better solution is to use Jekyll includes, which I'll show you now. To begin, we'll create a new folder called _includes. And inside this, create a new file called newsletter.html. Now we'll copy the source code for the newsletter section across to newsletter.html. Back to index.html, and I can replace all this content with my include. So I'll start with my liquid tags, and then it's just include, and then the name of the file, which is newsletter.html. I'll also copy this across to my blog page. Refreshing my blog page, the content's exactly the same, except now there's a single origin for that content. So if I make a change to that include, it's changed on the blog page and the home page. We're aiming to release at least one JekyllCast a week. Upcoming topics for beginners include setting up a Jekyll environment on all operating systems, explaining gem files in the bundler, configuring your site. Then we'll move on to giving an overview of use cases such as converting a static site to Jekyll, building a documentation site, building an e-commerce store. There'll be more advanced topics like building a plugin or advanced collection use cases. And finally, meta topics such as giving an overview of the Jekyll codebase, best practices, and rundowns of the latest Jekyll versions. So that's the project. You can find the casts at jekyll.tips, and there's a subscribe button if you want the latest casts emailed to you. Thanks.